Chapter 11. Annapolis, Maryland, the sailing capital of America. At the mouth of the Severn River, where the water opens into the Chesapeake Bay, Annapolis stands as a capital shaped by harbor, assembly, revolution, and civic memory. Its streets are narrow, its brick walks are old, and its public buildings sit close to docks where the tide still measures the day. Annapolis is not a large capital, but its history reaches deeply into the American story. It has been a colonial port, a seat of government, a brief national capital, a naval school town, and a living reminder that water helped form the earliest routes of power in Maryland. Long before English settlers entered the Chesapeake, this region belonged to native peoples of the Algonquian-speaking world who lived along the bay and its rivers. The Severn, South, Magathie, and Patuxent waterways offered fish, oysters, travel, and trade. Canoes moved where roads did not yet exist, and the bay connected communities across a broad tidal landscape. European maps later placed new names on these shores, but the water had already carried stories, labor, and memory for generations. Annapolis begins with that older Chesapeake world. Maryland itself began in 1634 at St. Mary's City, founded under the Calvert family as a colony where English Catholics sought a measure of refuge in a Protestant empire. The colony's early decades were marked by tobacco planting, religious tension, labor systems, and political struggle. The settlement that became Annapolis began later, in 1649, when Puritan settlers established a community called Providence on the north side of the Severn River. Many had come from Virginia, seeking a place where their worship and local government could take root. Their settlement was practical, tied to water, farms, and trade. The town's identity changed as Maryland changed. By the late 17th century, the colony was under royal control, and St. Mary's City seemed too distant and too closely tied to the old proprietary Catholic order. In 1694, Governor Francis Nicholson moved the capital to Arundeltown, a better situated port on the Severn. The move was political as much as geographic. It placed government in a more accessible and Protestant center, closer to growing trade, and better connected to the Chesapeake. In 1695, after Queen Mary II's death, the town was renamed Annapolis in honor of Princess Anne, later Queen Anne of Great Britain. Nicholson gave the town a plan design unusual for colonial America. Instead of a plain grid, Annapolis grew around circles and radiating streets. Church Circle and State Circle became anchors of civic and religious life, with streets spreading outward like spokes. This design reflected the ambitions of a capital city, but it also gave Annapolis an intimate character. Government, church, tavern, shop, and harbor stood within walking distance. Public life was not hidden behind distance. It was visible in streets where legislators, merchants, sailors, enslaved workers, craftsmen, and visitors crossed paths. By the 18th century, Annapolis had become one of the most important social and political centers in the Chesapeake. Wealthy planters came during legislative sessions and the winter social season. Taverns filled with conversation, news, and argument. Theaters, assemblies, horse races, and dinner parties gave the town a reputation for culture, and some called it the Athens of America. Yet that elegance rested on a society shaped by slavery and unequal power. Enslaved African Americans worked in houses, kitchens, workshops, docks, farms, and public spaces. Their labor was part of the town's wealth, and their presence must remain part of its history. The Maryland State House is the central landmark of Annapolis. Construction began in 1772, during the final years before Revolution. Its wooden dome, later completed without nails, became one of the most recognizable symbols in Maryland. The building was still young when the American Revolution altered its meaning. Maryland's lawmakers met there, and in time the rooms became connected not only to state government, but to the future of the nation. From November 1783 to August 1784, the Confederation Congress met in Annapolis, making the city the temporary capital of the United States under the Articles of Confederation. On December 23, 1783, George Washington entered the old Senate chamber and resigned his commission as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. That act mattered deeply. Washington had led a victorious army, but he returned military power to civilian authority. strengthening a principle that would become essential to the Republic. Less than a month later, on January 14, 1784, Congress ratified the Treaty of Paris in the same chamber, formally ending the Revolutionary War. Those events gave Annapolis a national significance far beyond its size. The city became a place where the war was not only remembered, but concluded in public ceremony. Washington's resignation and the treaty ratification connected the State House to the idea that Republican government depended on restraint, law, and trust. In an age when military leaders often seized power, Annapolis witnessed a different example. The room where it happened remains one of the most important civic spaces in America. After the Revolution, Annapolis remained Maryland's capital, though Baltimore grew larger and more commercially powerful. Annapolis kept a different role. It was the seat of law and memory, a town where the past stayed close to daily life. The harbor still brought trade, but the city's political importance came from the State House, county courts, printing offices, churches, and the continuing movement of citizens who came to petition, debate, and watch government at work. In 1845, Annapolis gained another lasting identity when the United States Naval Academy was founded on the grounds of Old Fort Severn. The academy brought a new rhythm to the city. Midshipmen, officers, classrooms, drills, ships, and ceremonies connected Annapolis to national defense and to the wider world. The bay had always shaped the town, but the Naval Academy made maritime service central to its modern character. The city became a place where state government and naval training stood within the same historic landscape. The Civil War tested Annapolis in another way. Maryland was a border state with divided loyalties, and Annapolis became important to Union movement and military organization. Troops passed through the city, and the Naval Academy temporarily moved north for safety. After the war, Annapolis continued to balance preservation and change. African American communities, churches, schools, and civic leaders shaped the city through Reconstruction and beyond, building institutions in the shadow of older public buildings that had not always included them equally. In Annapolis today, its history is still written into the streets. The State House still rises above State Circle. St. Anne's Church stands at the center of Church Circle. Brick streets lead down towards City Dock, where sailboats, workboats, and visitors gather at the edge of the harbor. The Naval Academy's walls and gates mark another chapter of national service. Historic houses, museums, and narrow lanes preserve the scale of an 18th century capital, while the water continues to pull the eye outward toward the bay. Annapolis holds its importance through the meeting of harbor and government. It began in native Chesapeake country, grew as a colonial settlement, became Maryland's capital, witnessed Washington's surrender of military command, and helped close the Revolution through the ratification of peace. The sailing capital of America is more than a graceful waterfront city. It is a place where tidewater life, public duty, naval service, and national memory still gather around the dome, the harbor, and the steady movement of the Chesapeake.